As I walk up to Rebecca and I'm about to open my mouth to start spitting the most sophisticated 10-year-old game I could foster up, I hear in the distance, it was Sophia and her two friends, Kate and Bailey. They were shrieking on top of their lungs. So boom, I was like 10 years old, living in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, if you're from Jamaica, you already know that Kingston is the place to be. You got everything going on. Fast life, good Wi-Fi, Cartoon Network on demand, everything. Everything is cool. But every now and again, my mom would pack me up and send me to the countryside to go visit my family. And I hated going there. Not because I didn't love my family, but bro, the Wi-Fi situation was so terrible. I'm talking one bar. If I'm lucky, at some acute ass angle at the window, it was bad, bro. So I'd be forced to actually go touch grass, which I was not trying to do. I was not trying to do all that. Now, this one time, my mom and I went down there for a setup. If you don't know, a setup in Jamaican culture is basically a celebration of someone's life who recently passed away. It's typically held a day or two before the funeral. It's a night of loud music, drinking, and just general good vibes. Now, in these little monthly trips to the countryside, I caught the eye of this one girl that I really liked, Rebecca. And seeing that the whole community was about to be at this setup, I was praying that she was gonna be there so I could officially shoot my shot. So let me break it down for y'all. All right, so this is where the family home is at. This is where the function is at. And this is where the church is at. And this is where Aunt Veronica lives, because she was the pastor of the church. Fast forward till around like 8 or whenever a setup starts, I forgot. The celebration has already started, people are already drinking, people are already drunk. And among those in attendance was this one family friend, Sophia. Sophia was around 18 or 19 at the time. She has a little bit of lore. She's a chill person for the most part when she wants to be. So the food is cooking, good vibes. I'm running laps around the whole function because I'm hyperactive and I'm bored. With my group of friends just chilling, Until a little birdie come and told me that, yo, Rebecca is on that part of this function. And me hearing this, I was like, what? Say less. So I was about to walk my ass over there to go, shoot my shot. Because my mama ain't raised no punk. Like, she ain't raised no punk, bro. So, I cooled down a bit, because I was sweating balls at this point. I had been up and down the function like 5 times. I was sweaty. I was tired already. But, I can't let this opportunity slip by. Now, as I'm walking over there, I see Sophia and two of her friends, and the air starts to thicken a little bit. I thought at the time that was probably because of this cold feet, Again, I was not about to let this opportunity slip by. Heck, bro. What is that? Hold on. Okay, anyways. As I walk up to Rebecca, and I'm about to open my mouth to start spitting the most sophisticated 10-year-old game I could foster up, I hear in the distance, it was Sophia and her two friends, Kate and Bailey. They were shrieking on top of their lungs, frothing at literally frothing at the mouth, and their limbs were moving very sporadically, And in that same breath, my mom and 2 of my aunts came out of nowhere, popped out the cut out of nowhere, and just restrains all 3 of them by sitting on them. Yes, sitting on them. At the time, my aunt was not a small person, and Sophia was 100 to 150 pounds. She had the strength to lift my aunt up and damn near put her on her back, bro. It was crazy. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that too well, but it was insane to see. Now, my mom had always told me stories about demons and people getting possessed, but never in my 10 years of existence I thought I'd get the chance to see this movie plot play out in front of my own face. That's just not that was not on my bucket list tonight. What was on my bucket list tonight was to bag Rebecca. That was my top priority, right? At first, I thought it was a seizure or something, you know, like I'm not really thinking at the first like, oh, it's a demon or whatever. I'm thinking maybe they're having a seizure, they're spazzing out, whatever the case may be. But then like as like the seconds went by, like you could tell that that's not a seizure, bro. By this time, the music stopped. And if you know anything about setups, the music never stops. So if the music stops, bro, something is going down. But again, I'm in front of my crush. I'm keeping it G. I'm not letting that, like I'm scared out of my ball. Like I am terrified at this point. But you know, I gotta keep it G though. Like I can't let Rebecca see that I'm spazzing out. Shit, like what's going on over there? Like, yeah, you feel me? Since Sophia and her friends were anywhere from like 110 to like 150 pounds, like they literally just dragged them over to Aunt Veronica's house. She was the pastor of this church, so they brought her over there to, you know, try to keep the function going, but not have them ruin it. You know, so they took them over there and did God knows what with them. You know, after that whole plot played out, it's safe to say that it was no longer the time and place to spit game. So me and Rebecca just like, you know, parted ways. She went back to her friend group, I went back to my friend group. After the function, I was at our family house, just chilling with my cousins, you know, just yapping it up, which is when we hear more shrieking. But what made this different is that it was no longer coming from Aunt Veronica's house. It was coming from the church. Now, in the layout that you guys saw, the church is in between both houses. So we now know that some shit is still going down. We know. Now what freaked me out particularly was that Sophia lived in our family house. She lived in the house that I was in at that moment. And I was not ready to have her enter this house after what I just witnessed. But you know, that was the last thing on my mind after, like, you know, I fell asleep. I was tired, you know, I was tired. Let's believe I was awake when my mom and her two sisters brought Sophia into the house and like escorted her to the back room. When I looked at that girl, bro, her eyes were like bloodshot red. Like she looked like she just ran a marathon, but she looked evil. Like I don't know how else to put it, but she looked evil. But we never really made eye contact though. You know, I just looked at her and then just like looked away real fast because I was just creeping me the fuck out. Now the main reason I wasn't really scared, I mean I was still scared because that's scary as shit for a 10-year-old to go through, but the reason why I wasn't as like scared is because the original plan was for my dad to come and get me and my mom after the setup was over. So although seeing Sophia under the same roof with me was kind of grueling to look at, I was like counting down the seconds like when my dad was about to get here so we can skate our way up out of here because this shit's fucking creepy. And so I wouldn't have to see Sophia for another 2-3 months. But that's when my mom walked in the living room where I was and said,
Daniel, you know, you're gonna have to stay here with your cousin for 2 more days.
I was ready to run away at the exact moment, bro. I could not believe my ears. But that really quickly like flew over my head a little bit because in that same moment, my mom and her two sisters came into the room. Like they stepped fully into the room and they were like debriefing in front of me like what went down after festivities ended. This is what my mom said.
We brought her over from Auntie Veronica's house to the church so Aunt Veronica could, you know, try to get the demons out of all three. It was hectic, you know, because as soon as she was done working on the others would start acting out again. The eyes turned jet black and Sophia's voice completely changed. She didn't have that high-pitched voice anymore. It was now very deep. In that same moment, Sophia burst out the church door and booked it into the forest. We didn't go out there after her because, you know, that's not really safe. But we got one of our guy friends to go get her, and that's where she's coming from.
After that, like 2 hours later, my dad came and took my mom back to Kingston. And that's when that shit hit me that I was officially trapped, bro. I was begging, I was pleading, please do not leave me down here with this demon in this house. But she did. She did. The next morning, everyone gathered on the veranda to wait for Sophia to wake up. Which is when we asked her if she remembered anything from the night before. Which is when she said, "No, I don't. What happened?" And then that's when I made up my mind to never, ever try to raise up at a function ever.
slow.